So we are officially live with my man, Mr. Levi Lascsak. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Michael? How are you? I'm good, thank you.
Man, I'm glad to have you on today. First of all, just so that we can jump in, everybody, today you're in for a really good a treat here. Levi's been a good friend of mine. In fact, I said that you were a new agent. I just want to clear up some things real quick. Levi, and I'll let you tell a little bit of the backstory. But for those of you that don't know, Levi was actually one of the first agents on my team. He's one of the very few people that I've worked with almost at every business I've had since I moved to Texas. He worked with me at my lawn service, worked with me in the gym business. We won't go up too much into the backstory, but Levi did reach out to me and ended up getting talked into getting his real estate license and coming back over to EXP. But one thing that Levi said was, Mike, I got to have production. I've been flipping houses. I've been doing this. And here's what he's done in the last 90 days. He has $60,000 in commissions under contract, $291,000 in booked appointments. Those are people coming to town that he's worked with that have been either pre-approved or are working with him in a buyer agency relationship, and a total of $698,000, which is $22 million in the pipeline. Levi, first of all, you did it all without an office. You did it all at EXP. And in theory, as a new agent, since you hadn't been in real estate for over a decade, share with us what's going on, what you like about EXP, and how are you getting things just rocking so quick?
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's funny. EXP, I think what I heard a lot was, it's cloud-based, right? People are kind of were concerned about that not having an office to go to. However, last year you look at the pandemic and it seemed like every real estate brokerage had to go online. They were forced to, and EXP was already there. So it was it was an easy, well, it wasn't even a transition. They were already operating online. So, that's something that, in this day and age, I don't think anybody should really be concerned about as far as going online or not having a physical office to go to, even though you can. We talk all the time, even though we're in different locations, and everyone's just a Zoom call or a phone call away anyways. And I think what I learned too, I originally got licensed with you in 2004. And, in Keller, we used to go in the Keller Williams office, and none of the top producers were ever there. So, they were always out selling homes. And so there was really not much value there in being in an office. And I remember I rented an office at Keller Williams, and that's overextending myself on that budget too. So that was something that getting into real estate back then, most of the time people come in with not a lot of money. I think the average real estate agent comes in with less than $5,000 to their name when they start in real estate. And so that's another reason why this strategy that I'm implementing with YouTube really makes sense as well, because you can do it with zero money. But I haven't seen, as far as operating with EXP, there hasn't been a downside to me at all whatsoever. I've gone in the world a couple of times. I know I hear a lot of feedback sometimes too, as far as people are concerned about the world, but it's super easy. I've gone in there and gotten my questions answered within 5 to 10 minutes, even trying to work with agents from other states and working with those brokerages. You can literally go in. I had an agent from New Jersey ask a question, went into the world, got into the New Jersey state broker's office, and was online with somebody within 10 minutes. And I tell you what, I can't even do that when I call Expedia I got a problem with my plane ticket, right? So you get in there very quickly, get out. Everyone is accessible. It's super easy to do. So, otherwise I really don't want an office to go to personally. I don't want to be accountable, so to speak, as far as having to show up somewhere or trying to get somewhere just for a training class. All the training classes are online. So, that's easy to access as well. And to me, it's easy.
So you kind of tell everybody, really people are here they're going to want to learn, well, why don't we put it this way? You told me yourself, Mike, in order for me to take advantage of the value proposition at EXP, I feel like I have to produce, right? Isn't that what you told me?
Yes, absolutely.
And so that was debatable, but you went down the production lane. And the reason it was debatable is I think you have a very high quality skill set that I think you could do anything. But this was something that was important to you, so you jumped in, obviously, and focused on the YouTube thing. You know, kind of give us a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. I'm 41 years old, and that's the thing is that we hey, I love sales. I've been in sales for 21 years. I mean, really, I learned a lot from you. And when we worked in the gym business, it was like 10 hours of cold calls every day, right? And that was just to set 5 appointments. And that was great. I love the movie The Boiler Room. All that was great for me whenever I was 20 years old. But at the same time, I'm looking at getting into the production side. Here's what I did not want to do. And it's not that I couldn't do it. It's that I didn't want to do it necessarily, because I didn't want to just cold call or door knock or send out 1,000 different flyers for lots of money, all those types of things. So I was looking for a way. There's got to be a way. It's kind of like when you go fishing, right? When you can go fishing on your own and cast your line everywhere and for hours and hours and not catch anything, and it's not that fun, right? But if you go with a guide, and the guide takes you over to the where all the fish are biting at the honey, the little honey well where they know it's
the honey hole, the honey
hole, yeah. Then that makes fishing a lot more fun. Wouldn't you rather get in your boat, go directly to the honey hole, cast your line, and start pulling in fish right away? So I was like, I don't necessarily want to cold call or door knock or kind of do all the what everybody was kind of leaning towards. And so I was looking for a better way. And that's the other thing about EXP that I really like, is that especially like in the group, the Honey Badger group, which we're a part of, a private Facebook group, everybody shares everything in there freely. And so I started to pick up things in there from other people, and I caught on to a couple of guys that were working on YouTube strategy, Jackson and Jesse, and I talked to them as well, and they just gave me everything for free. Really, they spilled the beans on everything. But so I looked into that, and I took time. This is the other aspect, is because I thought if I'm going to go on a social media platform, I wanted to really kind of choose one to go all in on versus trying to be the jack of all trades with all of them. I just wanted to be the master of one specific one. And YouTube made the most sense for me because it really covers. I mean, I don't see why anybody really, if you're going to work through social media, I mean, I think it is the absolute best platform because, I mean, you think about it, it does all the work for you. Now, you have to create the content in the beginning, of course, but that's the point. See, most people say they don't have time to do that, but the reality is when you create a YouTube video, that doesn't take you time. That actually makes you time. And the reason being is because that will live on YouTube forever. You see, every other platform is pay to play. You have to pay to boost your video. You have to pay to get that in front of people. You have to take them from top of funnel, and you have to work them through all the different avenues, middle of funnel, just to get them to the bottom of the funnel. And you got to pay for that because you've got to target them. And it's the whole difference between intent-based marketing versus interruption marketing, right? So interruption marketing is what we all know, and that's what's on Facebook and Instagram and everything, where it's just like when you watch a TV commercial and you see an ad for soap, you don't really need soap right at that time, but they hope to play that commercial over and over and over again. So hopefully one day when you're at the store, maybe you'll think about buying soap. Well, how does that really work? Well, on YouTube, the thing is people are searching for that content. They're searching for at least the content that we've created to attract that client, right? So they're searching for it, number one. So they're coming in at the top, right? Well, once they find your video and they watch it, now they've just moved themselves to middle of funnel, right? They're starting to get to know you, right? Because they're watching your video. And then once they reach out and they call you, that's the best lead, in my opinion, is whenever they call you, you've already won at that point, right? Because now they've found you, they consumed your content, and then they're reaching out to you. There's no better way to win a client than that aspect right there. And then whenever I actually answer the phone or get on a Zoom call, they're like, oh my God, it's you. It's actually you. They think they're going to get an assistant or something like that. And so you've already created a relationship with them by the time you even get on the phone.
Well, here's my question. But don't they want to? Don't they? Isn't it hard to convince them to do work with you since they haven't ever heard of EXP?
Oh, so first of all, they don't even know. I literally, Michael, and you know this because I told you, but I literally got a $10 million buyer that called out to me. I have several other $1 million buyers. They don't know. They don't know that I'm started to work this in less than 90 days. They've never once asked for my brokerage. They've never once asked for how long have I been in real estate. I've already created that content, and because I am knowledgeable on real estate, and I just haven't been in retail. I've done, like you mentioned, fix and flips. I've had rentals. I have Airbnb. I've been on that side of the transaction, so I'm familiar with, Dallas. The main thing is if you know your city, that's who people want to deal with. They don't care about your brokerage or if you have an office. I haven't met anybody.
They want an expert that can actually advise them based upon them making a purchase, especially when they're not local area movers and they're not familiar with the dog bar, right?
Right. That's right. That's right. That's absolutely right. But I haven't had a single person ask me what brokerage I'm with or anything like that.
So, and because I wanted to make your announcement, and I think you're doing amazing, a great job, you, and I wanted to ask you specifically for people, from an EXP perspective, because a lot of people, you could go anywhere right now. You could switch brokerages. Why would you stay with EXP out of all other alternatives now that you kind of, have a game plan? Can you please tell me?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, hey, there's 32 NFL teams too, right? So, you can kind of choose if you were in that space, you could choose which team to play for. But if you really could choose, wouldn't you want to play for Tampa Bay or maybe the Patriots a couple of years ago? I mean, the thing is that you can play for, hey, I'm a Cowboys fan. I love the Cowboys, but you kind of, it's almost like you play for the Cowboys just for the notoriety. They're not going to go to the Super Bowl anytime soon. I'm trying to be with the team going to the Super Bowl. And Tom Brady also proved the fact that it doesn't matter who your brokerage is, right? Because he went to a different brokerage and it's the player, right? It's the person. It's not the team. It's not the brokerage. It's not any of that. He went down to Tampa Bay and did what everybody said he couldn't do. And so I want to be with a winning team, a Super Bowl team. I think the reason I wanted to go with EXP is because, well, number one, a lot of the top players are there, including yourself and several others. And so what I always do, no matter what I do when I'm starting something out, is I look who's at the top, what are they doing, how do I model that, and then how do I adjust it to fit me and my style, and then how can I make that better, or how could I improve? And so when I'm looking at all the top players and all the movers and shakers go to EXP as well, I was like, well, that makes sense. But then on top of it, all the additional incentives that go with it, such as, stock and rev share and everything else, which, other brokerages don't really offer. It makes sense to me. Why wouldn't you want to go with a brokerage that offers even more incentives? If you're going to do what you're going to do, which is sell a real estate, which is what they do, why not go with the extra added benefits, right?
100%. So now what are you most excited about?
Well, I'm most excited about sharing this YouTube strategy with others and building a team, from that standpoint as well. I think now that there's a model in place and it can be duplicated. And so, it's funny. I mentioned to you, I got a couple of calls just from the posting. I mean, people want to know. I have my ear to the ground very much, and what I do know is that not a lot of agents are capitalizing off of YouTube and going through Facebook and Instagram and everything like that.
They're definitely not doing it in 90 days. I think that's
right.
Where if you said I built from YouTube, they think, well, how long did it take from your first post to getting your first deal?
Well, that's the funny thing. So here's what you got to look at. It does take a little time to snowball. So it was probably right around 60 to 70 days. So that's the funny thing is I started putting in the work after 30 days, and I have all this documented because I do plan to build this out to add value to others. Is after 30 days, I had 33 subscribers, no calls. 60 days, I had 200 subscribers and maybe one or two calls, but nothing serious. Within that last 30 days, over 1,000 subscribers, calls coming in every single day. And here's the thing: you actually in your class, in one of your classes, Mike, you talk about the in digital president. When you talk about conversion rate, right? Which is better, Facebook or Google? Google has a much shorter conversion rate, right? Because people are searching for that content. They're looking for that. Well, what I've learned through, YouTube is Google. What I've learned through that is people are actively searching. On top of that, dealing with all these out-of-state buyers coming from, everyone's moving to Texas right now too, or Florida or other areas. You should be capitalizing on all those people. And guess what? They don't have a brother, sister, or aunt or uncle that does real estate in Texas or Florida or wherever else they're moving to. So you become the authority figure. And so from that standpoint, then the conversion ratio is super quick. The first deal I put under contract did that in 24 hours. The person literally called me on a Thursday and said, "Hey, I'm in town. Can we meet tomorrow?" And the other thing I like about out-of-town buyers or Google-related buyers is they make decisions a lot quicker. If you think about it, people are in town for 1 or 2 days. They're looking to make a move. They make a decision. I sold one house completely over the phone. Somebody from New Jersey called, turned around, got them under contract within 24 hours. They haven't even seen the property in person. Another one was the same way. Actually, I just got a call on Saturday, and it's $1 million buyer. And they said, "Hey, we're in town from Seattle, and we just were watching your videos on YouTube. And so can you help us out?" And so that's another $1 million buyer in the pipeline right there. And, they don't know, they're coming from out of town. They don't know who else to call. And so the same way with another deal, one person called off of as a rental, but I still took that call and still treated that person as a person and talked to them. And whenever they asked me about rentals, I said, with the rates the way they are, and with the market the way it is, why not consider buying? And so they literally changed their mind and said, "Yeah, we decided to buy." They came into town, we found them a house in one day, and that was it. It was a done deal. And same way with the last deal. So 4 deals and under contract in the last part of the 90 days. But here's the deal now: is everything that 291,000 in commission, those are booked appointments within the next 2 weeks where these people are coming into town and they're scheduled to meet, with us, because they don't know anybody else, and we're already the authority figure. So that's like 6 people coming into town, and everybody so far has had a $500,000 budget or higher. And so that's the other good thing about people coming from California and New York is, of course, they're selling more expensive homes, so their budget goes a lot further. But I've got $3.5 million buyers, $2 million buyers, all in the works that just and that's it. They're consuming that content. That's the thing about YouTube too, is that people connect with that. You're filming out on the street, Mike. If like we're filming on these vlogs and stuff, kids come up, kids, and they say, "What's your YouTube channel?" They don't ask, "Are you filming for a Facebook video?" Nobody asks that. They say, "What's your YouTube?" I mean, people just assume now when you're carrying around a camera that you have a YouTube channel. And so it's funny that that's what kids look up to these days. And guess what? Those kids are going to turn into buyers down the road. But that's the thing. Our average viewer is consuming 2.1 videos, and our average video is about 15 minutes long. So at the least, my number one video right now has over 6,000 views in 30 days, and it's 37 minutes long. Who would ever think in this time right now that you could hold somebody's attention for 37 minutes? But because people are intentional, they need to move, they want to move, they're researching. That's the other thing too, is that 55% of my traffic comes from desktop or TV, which means they're not on mobile because they're searching for this content. They're looking for it. And whenever they're looking for it, they're sitting down and they're ready to consume it. And once they've consumed it, like I said, you've already won at that point. They're not going to go anywhere else. So it just made sense to me, and I thought, that's it. I started creating the content, also focused on optimization. That's the other thing, is YouTube is, here's the other great thing, is you're not going to, if you build a website and write a blog post and everything else, it could take you forever to get ranked on the first page of Google. You may never even get that chance. But if you go on Google's homepage and you Google your city right now, you Google Dallas, Texas, you scroll down, well, number one, there's a whole section for video and their YouTube videos. So you can make a video and you do have a chance to rank first page of Google with a YouTube video if it's optimized properly. And we've had people, 15% of our traffic is coming from Google right now, Google external search, which means we're showing up in the search results, and zero. I paid zero for ads, zero for boosting, zero. I haven't paid a penny on anything, haven't shared it. It's all been 100% organic growth. And so, yes, most real estate agents, when they're getting started, most of them have more time than they do money. So if you're going to create content, why not create content also on a platform that lives forever? It's evergreen, right? So evergreen, of course, means that if you create that piece of content, it's also relevant to your viewer. It doesn't matter what time of day they find it, what time of week, what time of month, what time of year. If they find that video, it's relevant to them at that specific time because they're watching it. And that's the other thing, is if you create search-based evergreen content, then YouTube's going to find your viewer for you. That's the whole point. It's not the algorithm. Everyone talks about the algorithm. The algorithm is your audience. And if you're making content that's relevant for your audience, that's good, that captures their attention, they watch it and they consume another video, YouTube's going to reward you over and over and over again. And so right now, think about that. I'm about to hit 1 million impressions, and over 50% of that has been given to me by YouTube for free. So they've put the content out to over 500,000 people for me, and I haven't paid a penny for advertising at all whatsoever. And the right people are finding me because you can justify that in the calls, emails, and text every single day that I get. And here's the other thing. People text, you will see whenever I put all this content together, Mike, people will text you their whole life story, and because they already feel like they know you and they already feel comfortable. And so, it's not like I'm chasing anybody down. They're giving up all the information, and it's just a different type of lead, and it's inbound. So again, I'm not sitting there worried about the thing is about making cold calls too. When you stop making cold calls, your lead generation stops. You can make cold calls for 3 hours and that's great. But as soon as you hang up that phone, your lead generation stops. As soon as you mail a flyer and that flyer lands on the front door, that's it. You have to do another mailing. Right? So you have to either spend time or money on every other resource, as to where YouTube, that video is playing 24/7. I have videos right now that started off slow. You change a little title or a thumbnail or something, and they start to take off. So there's no other platform either to where you can just make some simple adjustments, and then also let your video gain momentum for you.
How often are you logged into the back end of your YouTube?
I stay logged in.
It's addicting, huh?
Yeah, I love it. So, it's satisfying. The point is too, though, is that you don't care about the subscribers or views necessarily. But it does add credit.
But didn't you tell me that you're going to help a handful of people that you're partnering with do the same thing you're doing in their city?
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's say if there's somebody out there and they're like, man, Levi, I would love for you to help me execute a similar strategy in my market. What would that individual need to do if they were interested in learning from you?
5-star strategy call.com right there. So schedule a call. That's the easiest way.
Just go to listingclass.com.
Wait a second. See, that's a good point. That's why you always want to be in control, right?
That's awesome, man. Well, you've done a great job. I know, putting out that content. So how many videos have you put out? Can you, well, here's this thing. Here's the thing. We're doing a YouTube mastermind on Friday. You got time to jump in?
I'd be happy to.
All right. So we'll have Levi on the YouTube mastermind. If you want to be invited to the mastermind, make sure you go to youtube.com/Michael Reese. And there's a new video I just posted, which is EXP versus Keller Williams. All you got to do is make a comment on the video. And in that comment, let me know you want to be a part of the mastermind, and you'll get a private invitation. We got a couple other people that are going to jump on. The goal is just to kind of share with, have a bunch of people share and add value on what's working. Obviously, it's working good for you, Levi. Can I ask you, paint the picture. What's this look like 24, 36 months from now?
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Well, to have a larger team in EXP, and really that's the thing I'm helping with.
Are you hiring for your team right now? Do you need agents on your team right now?
Of course, absolutely.
So if someone was interested in joining your team and working inbound leads of people moving to the area, how would they get a hold of you? Same
way. They can schedule at 5starstrategycall.com, and that's the easiest way. We get on a Zoom. So absolutely. And that's the great thing is that, you can offer this if people aren't interested, then I have they can pay for it. But at the same time, I'm helping people for free, really, if they jump on the team. So I'm helping someone in Georgia right now build out their channel because they joined the team, and also helping another person build out a channel as well. And so that's what I also like about EXP is that it makes sense to, you want people to be successful. And so giving away all your, and just like working with you, getting access to all, the digital president and to the NAEA information, which is things that you used to charge thousands of dollars for, at least with not if people come on my team, that's the other thing is they get access to you and to Jay Kinder and to Brent Gov and all these other great minds and marketers and agents in the industry that have been there and done that, and get access to those materials as well. So it's not just me, that they're joining on a team. They're joining a team, a much larger team that's even bigger than me, and everyone is financially aligned to help that person as well. So, and that's the other great thing is if I'm not available at some point, then they have so many other people they can reach out to.
Well, you heard it here. Levi Lascsak, crushing it. If you don't think EXP is real estate broker, if you think you need an office, if you don't know where your next deal is coming from, if you're looking for opportunities or better ways, if you want to know what's working right now, you can always reach out to Levi right here, Mr. Levi. His hair is always perfect, but you can reach out to Mr. Levi. Go to 5starstrategycall.com. He'd be more than delighted to talk to you about what he's up to, what a partnership opportunity might look like for who he's looking for, whether that's his national team that he's building or if it's someone local to work the deals that he already has. Schedule a call with him. Otherwise, we appreciate you jumping on. First of all, Levi, thanks for your time. I wish I would be so motivated to take this to like a 2-hour interview, to be honest with you. But I'm not going to today. I want to, but I'm not going to. But I want to. We're going to have to do this again, man. It's been a lot of fun. You've added a lot of value. I think you've made people think differently. And I wish we could tell more of the backstory, but maybe we'll save that for later.
Hey, sounds like the plan.
All right.
Look forward to it.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And make sure you go to that YouTube channel, Michael. It's youtube.com/Michael Reese. There is a video that we just posted. It's the difference between KW and EXP. Just go into the comments and make a comment, and you'll get invited to the private mastermind we're going to be doing. And if you have questions for Levi, go to a 5-star strategy call. With that being said, see you at the top.
Or from the top.
Or at the beach. Or in
Hey, I like the beach. I like mountains too. So, hey, we
There we
can
go.
we can we can climb the mountain and look at the beach.
There we go.